Hello and welcome to the Webcast for Monday, January 20th. I'm SouthOps meteorologist Jonathan O'Brien. Visible satellite this morning shows mostly clear skies, but there are a few patches of low clouds and fog in some of the valleys, an indicator that some low-level moisture continues to linger from our cool weekend. But we have some big changes on the way for today. Those changes will come in the form of another strong Santa Ana wind event descending on Southern California. Here are the current wind observations this morning with the wind gust values shown in red. We're already seeing east to northeast winds increasing across the higher elevations with gusts of 40 to 50 miles per hour, and this is only the beginning. Everything remains on track for this Santa Ana wind event to intensify through the day today, peaking late this afternoon through Tuesday morning. And it will be a strong event, not quite to the level of the extreme event nearly 2 weeks ago, but quite strong nonetheless. At its peak, widespread northeast to east winds of 20 to 40 miles per hour with gusts to 60 miles per hour will surface across the mountains and below the canyons and passes of Southern California. And the windiest locations will likely receive gusts of 80 to 100 miles per hour. This appears most likely over the east wind-favored slopes of Riverside and San Diego counties, and possibly some of the Los Angeles County foothills, such as at the base of the San Gabriels as well. As I mentioned, there's some lingering moisture this morning. Most areas below 4,000 feet saw excellent recoveries last night, so it's going to take some time to cure out the fine fuels today. But as the winds descend into the lower terrain, there will be rapid lowering of the RH. Take a look at this model projection for RH today, and you'll see how the moist conditions this morning are replaced in just a matter of a couple hours with RHs in the upper single digits and low teens. It's going to be a remarkably fast transition by early this afternoon. As winds continue to strengthen, RH recoveries tonight will not just be poor, but will be completely non-existent, with likely no increase at all in the RH as the night goes on tonight. That will set us up for an exceptionally dry day on Tuesday. Minimum RH values will fall into the single digits and even the low to mid single digits, with values of 2 to 7% becoming common. And that is quite a bit drier than the extreme wind event a couple weeks ago. During that event, the RH mainly stayed in the double digits, even with the extreme fire behavior that we saw. So that is a big watch-out item for this event. Red flag warnings are in effect for much of Southern California, and these are certainly well warranted given the extremely critical fire weather conditions developing. The worst of the weather will be through about midday or the early afternoon hours on Tuesday, but that will not mark the end of our fire weather issues. There will be somewhat of a lull in winds from Tuesday evening through Wednesday morning, with mainly just light offshore flow during that time. But an increase to weak to perhaps briefly moderate Santa Ana wind conditions is then expected for Wednesday afternoon through Thursday. Northeast winds of 15 to 25 miles per hour with gusts to 40 miles per hour can be expected over the wind-prone corridors of Southern California, with potential for some shorter-lived higher wind speed values. Very dry conditions with minimum humidity in the single digits and teens and poor recoveries will continue through Thursday night and Friday as well. So any fires that become established early this week could certainly continue to burn actively, even though conditions won't be quite as severe. Temperatures will be near normal today and Tuesday, with mid-40s to mid-50s across the mountains and 60s to low 70s in the valleys. Significant warming will then occur Wednesday and Thursday. By Thursday, which will be the warmest day, the Southern California valleys will reach the upper 70s and low 80s. There is hope on the horizon, however. Drastic changes are then expected this weekend. Periods of rain with very low snow levels and cold temperatures appear likely for most of the region beginning Saturday and continuing into early next week. Current indications are for a primarily beneficial event with light to moderate totals and limited risk for flooding issues, but trends wetter or drier will be possible. Obviously, we have a lot to get through before then, but we'll be watching that period closely as well. Despite some modest improvement this past weekend, expect most fuel types to be highly receptive to ignition this week due to the rapid drying today, then prolonged extreme dryness through Friday. 1 and 10-hour fuels will rapidly dry out, and live fuel moistures remain near critical levels. Only some of the intermediate fuel types, like 100-hour dead fuels, may show some resistance to burning, at least today and tonight. There will be a high risk for large fire over Southern California from the mountains westward this afternoon through Tuesday due to the extremely critical fire weather. Rapid rates of spread and long-range spotting will be likely on new ignitions in windy areas. To emphasize the point, new fires in wind-prone areas may be uncontrollable this afternoon through Tuesday morning. High winds will likely reduce or eliminate aircraft capability for a time. Long-range spotting will render retardant and control lines ineffective. Erratic and extreme fire behavior is likely in such an environment. Large fire potential will remain elevated but not nearly as extreme on Wednesday and Thursday as breezy offshore winds and very dry conditions continue. High-risk days may be added for Wednesday and/or Thursday depending on trends in the forecast today. If current projections of cold and wet weather hold up, fire danger will be greatly reduced for a long duration beginning next weekend. So there is a lot going on weather-wise this week, but we'll be here through it all, and do feel free to reach out with any questions or concerns. And stay safe out there. That's it for today's webcast. Thanks for joining us. The next one will be on Tuesday, January 21st.